Yeah, I said nuke wouldn't really look too good for them. I would have liked the nuke out from them potentially, just because they had a decently close game versus Paradox last time, like 16-10, and Chiefs 16-8. It wasn't great, obviously. They still did get smacked at the end of the day. I never really felt like they were in control, but I don't know. I feel like experimenting somewhere down there or somewhere like and I can't remember the bans that came out at the start. Was Overpass floated through? If Paradox banned it, it makes sense. But if not, then I would have liked that as a pick as well. Either way, the
Mm.
reality is I really don't see Mako taking a map off Paradox in this scenario. I'd be surprised if they do, but I guess we can wait and see because I say we'll be in the game fairly shortly. Jim, we are in the game.
We are indeed. Now, I think one of the matchups in terms of individuals that I'm looking forward to is the two AWPers from both these two teams. I mean, Dust 2, if you have an AWPer that is giving you opening opportunities or at least anchoring sites on CT, you open yourself up to much more options as the map starts to progress. So look for K-Star on the side of Maker and look for Echo, of course, on the side of Paradox. That's the head-to-head in this matchup. So I'm at least expecting these guys to go head-to-head to at least give themselves as much opportunity to pick up AWP as possible. So I think it's really important that they manage their economy to give their players the right tools at the right moment.
I just looked back at the veto there. It was an overpass ban coming out from Paradox. So that makes sense then that obviously, Mako couldn't really pick it, being as they just had it banned out on them, poor fellas. That probably would have been the best chance for them. So I think Paradox approached that veto well. They banned out the one map they needed to. They'll be happy to pull a dust too. Because, I mean, look, we touched on the fact that obviously Mako have got a 100% win rate here, not against the best teams. We didn't mention the Paradox have beaten a lot of teams on this one. Vertex is up there, Ground Zero, 16-4, all the way back in the Australia NZ Championship. And they lost to Rooster pretty convincingly, but that's the only real downside. Pistol round's underway anyways, and you can see Mako on the T side. They're going to start moving towards A long. There's 3 players here already, and happy to hold it down. They've got a nice flash around. They didn't spot anybody either. But then the utility comes through from the T side, so they won't be like over-rotating the B or anything. Oh, a second flash, a wide peek, and Danger didn't get anything.
Straight into the danger zone. And Badonk has been flattened as well. Zert's taking control of this A bomb site. They will be able to get the bomb plant down. The retake is going to filter through short. And at least in terms of Mako, they've got themselves a decent chance in this round. They just need to make sure they hold those crossfires. No utility to speak of on the CT side. So they're just going to have to get in on headshots and headshots alone. But nobody from Mako is giving them an opportunity whatsoever. Look at these post-plant positions. They're not even facing. They're just happy to let them walk into the crosshairs. There we go. Echo giving them a fighting chance at least, but he's got a mountain to climb, and he will be demounted by Zilla. That is a good end to the round. Mako Shark, just something simple. Take control of long, get the smoke, cross, plant. That's all they needed, and that was enough for the round.
Well, they've got the pistol at least. It's a solid opening for them. Danger going through the smoke there. Had a flash behind and blinded the majority of the players, but then the one guy that could see him just swung wide and took that frag. It was unfortunate over on the Paradox side, but sometimes life be like that. And now you see them come into this round with a double scout setup. They're going to look for some ranged duels and try to make up for the weaker weapons they've got. The tunnels push early gives them a lot of information. They can fully rotate now towards this A site. The question is, will they be here in time? Badonka's holding it down with his scope in hand. He's got a scout and 3 players coming in through CT. And look at this. Mako haven't yet even gone out on long. They're all bunched up, so they're going to run straight into a stack without even knowing.
Well, that's the thing. They've taken too long once they got control of this area. Now, they're just going to be cordoned off. The CTs have got all the info. Echo's still hanging around upper dark, just in case anyone tries to rotate all the way back through. But you can see now that the smokes start to rain in. They are not going to move on them just yet. They're going to just wait and see what happens. I'm not a huge fan of smokes on anti-ecos. Let's be real, because it allows your opposition to close the gap, particularly on an area like long. But, I mean, they're just caught in a stasis, Mitch. They haven't acted on anything. They've just taken control along, and that's it.
The scout shot rang out, so Badonka knows there's a player in pit. At this point, with this much utility being committed, they're happy to stay stacked up towards this A site. Here they go on the crossover. Donka's going to have to... Oh, he's not even going to go for a spam. It's ORBZ instead, picking up Jimmy. And the opening frag going their way. 25 seconds left, but the bomb will be planted. In the retake with a man advantage, though, they're relatively happy to have that already connected. Danger. Oh, he is in danger. He's playing a very risky game. Somehow not being dropped just yet, though.
No, not just yet. Danger, though, eventually does fall. And you can see that the CTs were right there all the way through. Versa trying to pick up one, but he's still got a lot of work to do. We'll find the next, but I should be just shot in the back there by K-Star, and he completes the double as RBZ goes down as well. Now, Paradox, he, of course, bought pistols into that last round, so I'm not expecting too many upgrades here, but I don't know, like, MAKO are still very slow to move on a lot of these rounds. They're not making fast decisions, but are they overthinking it, or are they being overly cautious? Callum
Well,
Murray.
there's certainly... there's a road to go, really, isn't there, for Paradox? They're in a full eco. They've got a fly. Oh, hold on. They haven't gone all the way out long. Maybe they can catch a couple players off guard here. Drop some weapons. Make it costly. Donka grabs one. That's the flash gone, though, so they won't be able to overwhelm them in that regard. Although Badonka's, or Danger, still managed to get one. That was off the back of a team flash, I think.
Wasn't the most well orchestrated hit, let's be honest. And, well, Versa now just finds himself alone. See if he can take a weapon out of their hands. Oh, just tries to get a little bit too ambitious. Going for the Kukli, but not to be found. And MAKO Shark find their third. So they're off to a good start. Being able to convert those rounds after the pistol, super important for any side if they want to get themselves an early run of momentum on any map. So at least in terms of MAKO Shark, I think they're off to a better start than they were in the entirety of yesterday.
Yeah, it's fair to say, Jim. Definitely. Now they're going up against the full buy, though. Here's where things can get a little bit dangerous. The AWP in the hands of Echo. Player already out long, already running through the smoke, and that caught them completely off guard. What was Jimmy doing there? That was crazy, but it completely worked out. The last thing you expect is a guy to just be barreling towards you like that. The rest of his team miles behind. Although, really nice shot by Echo. Like, the fact that he found that hit really just saved the round, because he should have been dead to rights as well. They were playing anti-flash on that. Like, they're waiting for the next flash to go off so they can peek in as a team, and this guy just runs at them.
No such thing. He's just pushed. And look, don't get me wrong. Echo doesn't hit that shot. They're in a spot of bother. If he's advancing on the A bomb side, that's as much as we see. Badonka Dizzle take two, top mid. An information push, and that has actually yielded them some good results here, and also some map position.
Oh my.
He's gone for a third. He shouldn't be allowed to do this now, as K-Star left on his lonesome, and I think they're going to do the detective work and work out he's somewhere in the proximity of long, but they have the bomb. They have the spice. They control the universe right now, and it's all on K-Star to see what he can salvage.
Well, that was a wild round. All down to K-Star, as you said. He's being locked down. The thing is, look, they've got the spot from Versa. He's going to see this player. Swings, well, he's killed him. But either way, there were two players towards spawn. Badonka and ORBZ were going to swing together on that information. Look at this. Like, that was some shot. Echo was really lucky to react that quickly. But I love that. So Jimmy just W keys long, kills one, almost gets a second. And then Badonka's like, oh, you want to push? Okay, I got you. And just pushes them, kills three in T-spawn. It's one hell of an opening gun round.
It's that unexpected. Expect the unexpected with a lot of these teams, I think it's safe to say, as we do run into a round now where MAKO, again, just doing what they can with the last of their money. This is, I do like seeing teams take control of short. Echo missing a shot there, and he's going to be forced out back into the bomb site. I love seeing teams at least take control of short on Dust 2. It gives them so many more options in the scope of the round. And not necessarily a strategy, but a setup for the rest of the round. So taking control of those key areas on the map. It's not a strategy. I think Sponge put it best. It's a tactic. It's just something that gives them first step towards the round. As we do see Zerts explode out mid. He takes 2. So he's not able to continue on for a third, maybe overextending himself, but needs to be careful here, K-Star. That bomb probably should have made Upper Dark a little bit earlier. Now he's got to work with Callum Murray to try and make something happen. And they are going to rotate all the way back through spawn. Now Danger. He's slowly aware to the fact that they are coming through spawn. So at least now he has the info that he needs. He will take down the low Callum Murray, and A-Star does go down as well. So I think that worked out probably a little too well in favor of Danger, because he should have been dead to rights. Let's be real.
It's another one of these games, Jim, where I'm just scratching my head so much. Versa does well in the opening, then just gets shut down. So trading out the 2Ks, we end up at like, let's look at how the round even started. MAKO took short control, yes, with 5 players. They had control of that key part of the map, nowhere else. And then they come down, they get obviously wrecked by Versa. They find a 2K. I don't, man, what is going on? Versa's just pushing top mid now versus Pistols. I'm just kind of like really confused as to what we're saying. It's like we have bits of strategies either deployed at the wrong times, or like, oh, Badonka, he's got an SMG, so it's more forgivable, but now he's screwed. They're going to swing on him up close. He's got to hit all these shots. No support. Oh, they're lined up. He gets so much money from that.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Do you know what they've just done? They've gone for the double Spanish Inquisition. No one expects it. Certainly not the second.
Yeah, true. True. They did expect it after he started firing away and missing the shots, but they just perfectly, they made a conga line then. Like, yeah, let him just mow us down. It's the strat.
A Congo line, which ended up being the limbo. They were all bent over backwards. As we see Echo. Just... Oh, dear goodness. They're just running and taking duels. The CT side are just playing Disruptor right now. Even the peek into Upper Dark, Herbs, just taking the opportunity to capitalize on the mayhem, and they do go down 2 players early on. I actually don't mind that from CT side. It's just really unsettling tease. And what it does is it forces them to take a slower approach, burn up time, be more open with the information that they're giving to their opposition, because they have to use utility to take areas, or alternatively, they just have to sit back and wait, and that doesn't gain them any territory whatsoever. So it ends up being a slower game on the back of these CT pushes. So we do see a push coming out mid. Helen Murray just going to try and wrap his tentacles around mid, but his smokes and utility usage from Paradox have just slowed things somewhat.
They're so focused on one direction. Like it's like MAKO don't want to do anything. They go all short. They go all mid. Like there's never that spread out for map control, and then they just go straight through the door in a molly. You got that. Oh my God! How did he hit that shot? How did he hit that? I hope we have a replay from his perspective, because that he was dead. Like I saw him die, and he hit the shot.
Have you ever reflex swatted a fly or something like that? I imagine that's exactly how it felt. Just to swat a T.
Oh, here we go.
It's trying to be the thorn in the side of the rotation.
Oh, that was a no scope. The kill feed, it was so quick. The kill feed didn't even know what was going on. I was thinking, how did he scope that quickly and shoot? But, jeez.
He did it. Here's the matchup. Top mid, Zilla. Just... He's been given a nice new hairdo by Echo. Just the pistols coming out now from MAKO. I mean, they'd probably be better positioned just filtering through lower dark and trying to come out mid rather than going the top mid approach that they have tried to take here. Versa, he's ready for this. This is well played from Paradox. I mean, Echo's just going to town. Versa cleans up, and that is the round. And there's not a lot that can be taken from that round from MAKO Shark. I think they're just keen to get into the gun round here, hoping they could maybe take an off out of the economy. But, I mean, look at the money situation here for Paradox. It's just starting to to build and build and build with interest.
Yeah, it's riding high for sure. You know, the issue there for Paradox potentially was that they are taking those fights one at a time. Like Eccles down on the ramp. He's got an op, he takes the first shot, but if the spacing is better for MAKO Shark, they're able to swing and take him down. There's 2 players right behind that guy if they wait a minute, if they push together with good spacing, and all of a sudden that's a kill. Look at this. K-Star gets an opping frag, and Eccles swings out immediately. It's so aggressive. It's so individual as well. It's been working so far after those first 3 rounds. You're not going to get away with that versus higher level teams. Now, maybe they're only doing that because they're versus this opponent. That's the thing, right? But they're being punished in this round, down to a 4v3. And for Paradox, it's not easy to make a call because the info that they've gained, oh my God. Well, it got easier because now they've got bottom mid control versus seen a guy coming from tunnels and a nade's coming in from top mid. Didn't hit him. But Jimmy's still able to win the duel.
He's not even rotating out. That's the thing. They're just jamming themselves into these positions on CT side. And then once they're there, they're confident enough to just stay and expect the T to re-step and try and make a trade. That's how confident they're playing right now, Paradox. And I think, yeah, even look at that opening round, that frag that was given to K-Star. The CT went for the lower dark pick, stepping and fully exposing himself to mid. So they're so confident. They're actually, I think they're leading to their own downfall here in some of these rounds, Paradox. As we do see now, MAKO, they're going to make their way into this A bomb site, but danger's lurking beneath.
Oh!
Tell you what, I think Zertz has heard our pleas as RBZ does a lot of damage, but cannot convert. Just needed that stray bullet to take down K-Star. It's a frustrating frag to concede, I will admit. But, I mean, in terms of Paradox right now, some confidence in the early round phase has yet... Look, even then, they're just going straight on to short. They're just taking these duels. Versa was sitting in Xbox position for quite some time. He didn't rotate whatsoever. So I think it's just confidence against MAKO. Maybe they're undoing because it's becoming a little bit more complacent than it is confident.
Yeah, look at that one right there. Danger running out in the open. He's just pushing long doors, not knowing a player could be out already, evidently, but it is just reckless at the moment. And, you know, you can be better individually than another team. And you're already seeing that a lot of the time that Paradox are making those aggressive plays. I mean, Badonka's top mid push was the best example. That even when they run into rifles again and again, they're winning those duels. But you can't keep doing it. Because eventually MAKO are going to take, as you were saying the other round, a slower approach to their attack. They're going to hold for those pushes. I mean, that's what they're doing now. A player boosted up on long, one holding the mid push, and the rest are slowly coming towards tunnels. They're hoping that someone from Paradox gets aggressive so they can rip their head off and get even more of an advantage. They're also concealing their hand with utility going out on A to try and sell that fake. And indeed, there's 3 players here. OrbZ's going to be all alone as the hit comes through. Molly in. He has to kill this first player, but he doesn't expect the second. Zilla just ran through the Molotov, catching him completely off guard and leaving that bomb plant to come down now on the B side.
Big ask now for Paradox as that bomb does eventually go down. And yeah, like, I think Paradox here right now have just undone themselves somewhat because MAKO are showing, and let's not be mincing our words here, Zertz has stepped up a little bit. We've seen him go for opening duels. We said in the pregame that they weren't quite working in his favor. This map is a little bit more successful in that department, and I think that's really opened a lot of things up for MAKO. Whilst Paradox is still doing quite well on that CT side, this is a much better showing from MAKO in these rounds.
Yeah, Zertz is definitely having a much better time. I think actually in terms of technical opening duels, he has none at the moment, but it's trading. It's getting in those early fights, right? Because I'm sure someone will look at the statistics and go, but he hasn't got any. But that's not really what an opening duel is. And it's something I want to look into, getting the stats like, you know the way we have KAST, killed, assist, survive, traded percentage? I want to just see traded percentage. Like, how often does somebody die but get traded? And how often does a player trade his teammates? Because that's basically the most important. I mean, we've all seen entry fraggers that are massively negative, right? That have like 10 kills, 20 deaths. But without them, you would not win the game. Because they're first guy in and the guy behind always manages to trade. That's the most important part that I think a lot of teams, a lot of people, like casual viewers, I've seen just watch and go, this guy's terrible. He's not got the kills. It's like, no, that's not what it's about. So that kind of statistic could be very useful. But that's where Zertz has really excelled in this. You look at Versa, 2 kills in CT. Zertz comes in, bang, 2 back straight away. He's just handing it right back to them and really making Paradox fight, even when they've got the advantages already up.
And not only that, too, I think it's important that you recognize that Zertz, yeah, they're not opening duels necessarily, but they're occurring mid-round, maybe when there's still, you know, 3 or 4 CTs up. That's where he's going out into those entry points and making those plays happen.
Important times, the ones where you really need to swing it in your favor. So far, the opening duels of the round have been very early, very fast because of pushes. Now, though, Paradox just wait in position. They're holding for aggression, but they're getting shut down on the site. Even the change of pace isn't working. As Ekel gets shut down on the elevator, it's all down to Orbee's head. He's in a 1 versus 4. And how's it falling apart? They took the advice. They went away from the aggressive playstyle, and Orbee's head won't even be able to get out of this site. He's 24 health, and they're dropping down looking for him. There's 1 kill, but he can't survive. There's no way. They were throwing themselves headfirst into him. Eventually, something had to stick. That's heartbreaking. Because now, Jim, right, they know they've thrown away a couple of rounds. They've played overly aggressive and given MAKO an in. Then they try to change their strategy, slap back again. Now what do? Right? This is where things, I feel like this is where your mentality starts to really get messed with, because you know you've given them that lead, and now your B plan hasn't worked either.
Well, not only that round just there that we saw, there was 4 CT players on A. However, their short defense relied on 1 player who was passively watching it from the A side. So it was just a domino effect as they just pincered that site. There's nothing that they could do. It's so hard to hold A if you don't have control of either short or long, and they didn't have control of either. They had the stack, but they were just all backed into corners. So Paradox, yeah, you're right. The passive approach didn't pay dividends here for them, and you can see there they've cottoned on to the fact that Paradox will push for openings like this, and Versa goes down in that exact same situation. Regardless of whether or not he had a pistol, they were still aware of the fact that these pushes are happening. So he's trying to look over the smoke here. Danger just trying to hide as best he can as well. As he might be able to find one, but that'll be about it. In fact, he finds nothing. As it just all falls apart for Paradox. Interesting combo though. Scout and CZ, I dare say he's picked up one of those, because you don't often pair those two. But I mean, Mitch here, we're seeing MAKO just slow things down, as I said they would, but it's working for them. I feel as though Paradox maybe just running out of options for the moment. They need to go back to something a little bit more traditional now, reset themselves. Obviously, with the gun round coming up, they have the opportunity to do that.
Well, with a 7-5 scoreline, they better get back up here soon, because I know they're going to feel deflated moving into the next half. They've given way too many opportunities to MAKO Shark. They've gifted them the 7 rounds that are on the board. Now, MAKO have been working hard for it, for sure, but Paradox, they had it, 5-3. Everything was going their way. They were looking dominant, but they kept up the aggressive playstyle, and we've seen that from Ground Zero as well. They got punished for it. Here's Ekel solo holding the B side, all his teammates on A. Oh. Now we see the other side of that 4-man stack on A early on. It's that B is left isolated, and with the smoke in CT, they're crossing over, but Badonka's got an angle above it. Ekel doesn't hit the shot up close. Calamari catching him off guard, and as they close in towards this site, it's a 2v4. A position for Paradox that looks very good. They've got decent utility as well. Just one flash, but a molly and a smoke, and that can count out Calamari as he moves in towards the tunnel. K-Star has to have the hold of his life. There's 1 kill already on the board. They need so much more, though.
That smoke puts so much pressure on K-Star. Calamari throwing that, he's effectively cut himself off from his teammate. There's no chance of being able to do too much. He's trying to obviously then get into the tunnels or sit above the smoke in the boxes there. But I mean, that smoke might have been better utilized somewhere else, like the doors or the window.
Yeah, 100% agree. I saw him throw it. I'm just thinking, what is the purpose of that? Now, he did get an angle above it to at least catch one kill, but you're so isolated at that point that I feel like, yeah, definitely you're better off cutting your opponents off as they come through. Like, look, he had to push around on that angle. And that leaves him watching the window. He had one door, but as soon as he lets them out, as soon as they just dive out the window, you're done.
I also do rate the decision from Paradox, though, to execute on that quickly and take... Well, here we go. Jimmy again out long. Let's see whether or not he can get around that smoke. Zilla's supporting him quite nicely as they do make the trades work, but Jimmy finally finds his target. Needs to be careful, though, because I feel as though that smoke, as it fades, he's going to land himself in trouble. Doesn't convert the frag, but Zertz is there. The support network is working out for them, and they do have control of A if they wish to take it.
Trading back, one at a time, keeping themselves alive in this one. You gotta say, all in all, this has been a very good showing from MAKO Shark. Definitely the best that they've looked so far in this tournament. The previous game versus Chiefs was underwhelming, to say the least. For the moment, I think everything that we saw and wanted to see in the Chiefs game is showing up. Look at the kill distribution as well. Everybody is between 8 and 11 kills coming into this round.
I think you're definitely right in saying this is their best performance, and it's not just any individuals, it's the team. It's the team lifting when needed, and I think not having as deep a map pool as a team like Chiefs really hurt them last night, whereas at least with Paradox, yes, they've got a map pool that's relatively decent, but the vetoes have let them have a map slip through that obviously MAKO are also quite confident on. We will see whether or not that translates into rounds for them on the CT side, but for the moment, they've got the upper hand. At least they've been able to get the advantage going into the second half with that 8 scoreline. But Verse is going to be key for them here. He's got a lot of information. He's just keeping those 2 CTs over towards the A bomb site. So the problem is there will be a 4v2 if they do choose to go A.
At 5-4, at 5-5, I'm happy to sell the narrative of Paradox are throwing it away. But at this point, it's hard to deny that MAKO Shark are just playing damn good, as well as Paradox making the initial mistakes, but they've tightened up the ship. At this point, though, it seems like it's a little bit too late, especially because they continue down this narrative of hyper-aggressive, not necessarily plays, but buys. Like, this force buy seems so unnecessary. You can afford to give them a 9-6, but obviously, you lose the half then. I don't know why I went there, but the fact that you had the scout come in and do practically nothing in the early fights, they really needed to answer back on that. They really needed to push that further. And look at how MAKO Shark even ended the half in terms of money. After investing everything they wanted, they had 10K on like 3 players or close to.
I think it just speaks to the fact that there was a clear momentum shift in this game with the initial conversion going through from MAKO Shark. They got the pistol, they got the subsequent anti-eco rounds to go their way, but it just seemed as though Paradox, full of confidence after taking that first initial gun round, they rolled on through. They were pushing up mid. They really felt as though the world was their oyster, but it just forced MAKO to play a slower style of CS, which actually did suit them a little bit more. And an impatient Paradox were punished for it. So now they've got to make this work on their T side. Admittedly, that is an easier task than making it work on your CT side, but at least this keeps things interesting going into the second half.
Jim, that's the first time in, let's say, a year that I've actually added numbers to make 14 instead of 15. Fair play me. I was looking, I was like, why would you not play for the last round and with a full buy? I'm like, oh, it is the last round. I'm dumb. But yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. They were 14. Bring it in. Oh no, this is a hell of an opening now. There's a P250 still in play. It's got a wide angle. Easy peasy. Badonk is even the one converting that. Much better start. And this is just like 3v1 pistol fights. Eventually, Versa offers himself up. They didn't quite manage to throw the bomb far enough. He dropped on it, thinking maybe he'd be able to catch it, but that's unfortunate. Oh no.
Oh no.
It was all going so well.
That was a good shot from Jimmy onto the falling tee, but you're right, the bomb throw wasn't quite good enough. It was a bit of a custard arm effort, let's be real. However, Echo was ever present, lurking in mid to just clean things up a little bit after initially opening things up at long. So he was the first guy, one of the first guys out, but then also quickly peeled back through mid too. So I think set themselves up nicely. Looking at the force buy though from MAKO, this is dangerous on a map like Dust 2, having a dual scout setup and even going into well, I mean, the two Deagles, I don't really trust the Deagle these days, but the MP9 could make things interesting if those scouts manage to do damage early round.
So, oh wow, good shot by K-Star. You're looking at the T side here for Paradox, very slow at the moment, anyways. Versus this force buy, they're taking it very seriously, but that little bit of a shift out mid has completely caught them off guard. They've ended up in a spot where, obviously, losing a player, they have no map control, and so it's going to be this very funneled attack towards A. They've got long control, they're getting it uncontested, crossing to the site. Oh, if Zilla gets here in time, he might just get a shot off. He jump peeks it with his knife. Now here comes the swing. Players seen down below. He's just going to cross back. Can't afford to keep this fight. They should be able to smoke this. Oh, they've only got one smoke. No, they don't. They have the second. Was already thrown. Excuse me. So they've got over to the site. Zilla not connecting those shots on the crossover, but Jimmy's here for serious damage. Echo went to 21 health on that cross as well.
This is not looking that healthy for Paradox here. I mean, even if the CT side just trade out, the fact that they have some utility to work with, those smokes might be able to get them a little bit closer to the bomb site here. Danger does a great job, holds control of long, super important for that to happen. And Herbs just leaves K-Star now to try and pick up the pieces. And all he's going to be able to do is pick up a smoke and get out of there.
I'm the biggity bail. Get on out of there. They're only exiting towards long, and even then it's a safe exit, which is definitely the right call considering the buy you're up against. It's always possible that one of these players is just sneaky around a corner waiting for an SMG kill and an upgrade. And considering they've got AKs and a Galil, that's not the position you go hunting those kind of weapons with. But a scout is a valuable saved weapon, Jim. You know, they're going to be able to do some decent damage with it. You know, one tag makes it very easy for the USPs to follow up. One shot headshot, just a few taps to the body, and certainly for someone like Jimmy with a Deagle in play, makes it a whole lot easier.
Zert's a sacrificial lamb, just getting out towards Pit. Now Echo, he's under some duress, but as long as he can hold on to that AK, the angle, you can see they're just trying to make his crosshair do some gymnastics as the pressure comes in from short. Ooh, Donkadizzle making that Mac 10 work over range. And Mark Morrison was right. The return of the Mac is well and truly here. We knew that he'd be back.
And nicely done. For Paradox, 9-9. They're back in the game. They're tied up with MAKO. They needed those early rounds. But again, as I said in the previous half, this is the one that matters. It's the full buy. The AWP making an appearance for K-Star. And remember, this is where Paradox managed to string together most of their rounds on their half. It was off the back of this round. Thing is, Paradox have got lots of money in the bank, right? Because they didn't really suffer any losses, any casualties. Good smoke down on the molly. And look at this fast push in towards the B site. They're all over them. But Jimmy and K-Star, they're answering up. They're standing strong as Zertz lands another. And this is starting to go their way. MAKO Shark destroying Paradox on this B split.
Wow. Zert staying alive for as long as he did in that B bomb site was the linchpin of that round. And it was a fast hit. I actually rated the change of pace from Paradox. We'd seen only slow rounds up until that point. They got themselves all the way in, but K-Star just finding the gap in the smoke. Versa goes down, and it was the Zertz and Jimmy show here. Lock things down. And Callum Murray, well, they held him up long enough. Zert staying alive, as I said, was good enough to allow Callum his opportunity in, but there's an opening pick now there for Eccles. So things in the opening proceedings for Paradox have gone a little bit better than they have in previous rounds. And we see MAKO ahead for what is the first time since the half.
See the respect. Like, you can actually see it now versus those initial 7 rounds or so of the game. Paradox have massively slowed the pace. They know now that it's not a matter of just going and taking map control. They need to fight for it. They need to be careful of, well, an Opera just sat in the corner, for example. As Bedonka actually got pushed, he got the angle through the doors and took him down. With that now, the man advantage is traded back. It's a full short push by the Paradox side. The smoke in play doesn't give Zilla a massive angle to play off of, but K-Star is picking them off on the cross. The jump up by Danger nets him a kill. The molly's a little deep, I think. It might give an angle for Zerts to push up, and it does indeed. Ooh. He catches one because of it. A big gap in the defense, or the offense as it were, and Zerts is just shutting them down. The spray for the third, and an 11th round for MAKO Shark. Really well handled.
I tell you what, this match has been somewhat of a resurgence for Zerts because, I mean, statistically, you look at his rating, probably not one of the better players in the server, but he's performing in key rounds for them, exerting himself on that A bomb site, and they're now starting to wrestle ahead. And I think it's really important to note that Paradox is struggling to get into the bomb sites, let alone plant, and it's not even coming into the post-plant situations. They're not even getting there. They're being locked out before they can even get in.
It's getting dangerously close to MAKO Shark kind of running away with this half, isn't it? Like, with just Eagles in play, what do you expect from Paradox in this round? A couple kills at most, but the round wins almost out of the question. At that point, 12-9, that's perfectly workable for a MAKO Shark that will then have some fiscal security. If they can survive this with all 5 players, even better. Scary times for Paradox. They start out as clear favorites in the series. Confidence was brewing. Shots were being hit. They were winning all the fights, and is that going to extend? I think he's safe.
Shouldn't.
It seems like
shouldn't.
You never know what Molly's in this game, though.
Well, I mean, it should be a known quantity, right? Because depending on which direction you are facing, when you throw it, it spreads in that initial direction, even if it bounces off the wall.
I saw recently there's like a small bit of RNG, though, in the... if you throw the same molly multiple times, that's crazy. Like, how is that a thing? Bit unreasonable.
At least the flash came out here as they do try and hit this A bomb side. It is a shooting gallery though for K-Star. He's been knocked off his podium though. There's Danger, who has found some valuable contributions in rounds for Paradox, and he has allowed them to get into the bomb site by opening things up as the retake will come in. The timing is good though for MAKO, and they do just clean up. As we said, very difficult for anyone to hold the A bomb site if they don't have anywhere to anchor, like your long, like your short, and that extends to the T side. So good round for MAKO Shark. Important round for Paradox though, because that bomb plant allows them a few more options in this round, and you can see their money's a little bit healthier now. And I'm interested to see. Yep, Eccles does take up that AWP, so he has had that purchase for him, and they've got themselves a really healthy chance now to make a run with the next couple rounds at least.
This will be so huge if Paradox can get back into it now. You know, because they can capitalize on the lack of money for K-Star and Calamari. Oh no, Versa, he got away with murder. Bedonka was blind but kept spraying the corner. Versa in with another, and Long is open for business. It's as free as can be. Completely smoked off as well. An aggressive flash. Jimmy gets blinded by it though, so he can't answer back immediately. And with that, K-Star's all alone. This time, the clear-cut aggression works out. The Opera holding mid, they both miss. Trading shots, but not blows. The K-Star eventually able to take one. He's just going to be overwhelmed though. There was literally no way he could kill all of those players.
A situation like that, I call it a time crisis, because you've got multiple enemies popping up all over, and you just got to be careful that you don't hit a hostage instead. but Paradox find their way. These are one of those rounds where it's over in the first 10 seconds. The three
Yeah,
collapsing
literally.
on long, that's it, you're done. The two
Yep.
CTs, there's no way into that round. They find themselves on the back foot immediately, and that's the reply that Paradox wanted, because you could see the CT economy, other than Jimmy on that Nova,
As if.
there's no real investment. There's
As if he's bought a Nova.
K-Star. He's going to
Oh.
be playing off the back of K-Star, though, I dare say.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's been a long, I don't think I've ever seen a Nova to hold short like that. Oh my God, Zilla. That's a strategy, all right. Just run at him with a Zeus. But it ain't working out. You love it when it does, though. You hear that little tss.
Yeah. Ah!
It's the best feeling.
It's not when you receive it, though. Let's be real.
Well, true.
Being on the receiving end of a Zeus frag is about as BM as it gets.
I don't
Let's
know,
just see
man.
whether or
I
not-
don't know whether I'd rather be Zeus or Novan. I don't know which is worse.
I think the issue is, in that sort of situation, Versa took that duel, and the amount of times that I have been in Versa's position and copped a rogue dink from a shotgun at that range, it really makes you think. As Paradox find their way a little bit closer now to MAKO, and yeah, we are seeing another buy coming in from MAKO Shark, so they are going to have to make sure that they convert this round here, because otherwise they're going to only be on pistols at best in the next. So Paradox have done a good job of actually building their own economy too. So we've seen this though. These two teams, they've traded blows in terms of momentum shifts. So the question is, how long will this next momentum shift last for Paradox? And can MAKO Shark put a stop to it quickly?
Yeah, you look at the at K-Star at the moment as well. He's 4 for 0 in opening duels. Zilla grabs another, but he falls. And they know that Calamari is right down below because, well, someone had to boost him up. Else he's got the turbo jump, the Mario double jump. Oh, the angle being held by Eckel, but there it is. K-Star with another duel going his way. Eckel's shut down. And Eckel's been really struggling in those early rounds to get those frags on the board. You said the Battle of the Operas. Well, it definitely has felt like it's going towards K-Star at the moment. And now they're in a man advantage on the retake because of it.
Ooh, certainly two AWPers spurred on my confidence here, and this is going to be a tough retake. Danger is falling up with Versa, and they're just taking the duels here, but Jimmy, he's enabled his teammate to sneak that defuse, and MAKO Shark find a very important 13th round. They've taken a lot of losses, though, on that CT side, so the problem is if they do happen to lose one of the next rounds, they're going to find it tough to have all the tools that they need to maybe even close this map out as we see those last few frags come through. So, yeah, look, they're spending up big, these CTs. There's a lot of money being just put to waste by Paradox, as we do see a faster approach coming out now from Badonkadizzle. No supporting utility, so to speak of, but I think Zilla's aware to the fact that there may be some presence lurking out mid.
You know, those weaker weapons, the FAMAS in play, not going to be helpful for MAKO Shark, even with all that investment that they've made. But look at this flank. It's so huge, perfectly timed. Calamari in there from behind with 2. And Paradox again, they get off to a good start and it falls apart. All down to Versa. He's had some huge rounds so far, some big multi-kills. The bomb's down in the open and those players are rallying around it. He's got to find the first towards CT, but it's K-Star holding it with the op. And again, he comes in with the kills. 14-11. And Paradox might just be losing the first map up against this MAKO Shark lineup in the history of their lineups butting heads.
I mean, what a time to find that breakthrough victory as well for MAKO. I mean, we're talking, you know, this is all hyperbole at the moment, but they need to get the job done. The money from from Paradox is still enabling them to buy, at least put the right tools in Eccles' hands for the moment. He does get that tag onto Zilla, but he is going to be forced out by that Molotov and the grenade that comes through and supports. Only just chars his toes somewhat as he plays around the edge of that Molotov. Now that smoke is just going to try and split the atom as they do get out. Long bomb, or the long area, but there's a good trade coming out from K-Star. We said he's been instrumental for them, and he's been able to find the follow-up trading frags as well as win some opening duels. So I think he's been a real key player for them. We said, well, I said the map pool yesterday wasn't really conducive to his skills with the AWP, and I think you know, if they go on to Nuke next, we'll probably see that case in point. But here on Dust 2, he's had a much easier time.
Vidonga also just gave him a massive opening. It had Deagle, and he just swung wide on long around the smoke. Not really getting where that one was coming from. I guess wanting to capitalize off the momentum and catch the players on the retreat, not counting on the op already being in position. Callum Murray goes down. K-Star's already dropped. They've got clearance to just plant that bomb now. As they go up around the molly, there goes the plant. And the jump, it's going to come through the Kukli with the M4. One player caught up behind as Versa looked to pursue him. And Jimmy's got to be mauling after that one.
Oh, there was no way. There was no way. I actually don't think he even saw his opponent. He was going for Zerts. He was trying to jump and prevent that plant from going down. So
I think it might have been a pre-fire on the next jump. I genuinely think he was pre-firing the guy to jump again and just spray the guy through the smoke.
Hey, look, if they fall your way, you'll take frags like that. And we will see MAKO just try and save this M4 and AWP out. Should be able to do so. I don't... Ooh. Zerts does take some damage to the wall. A few tense moments there, no doubt. The chair was a little bit squeaky in those moments.
The upside here, though, Jim, is that they've actually managed to build up that little bit of extra money on the CT side. Again, though, let me just quickly check. It's not the last round of the half. Okay. I probably wouldn't go in for the force buy at this stage. You know, 14 to 12, you've got an SMG and a pistol. If they wait just a little bit, if they take a pistol buy on this one, they could be looking at a solid, like, 14 to 13 full buy for them. And it's not like they get a reward right now. I'd understand if Paradox had next to no money, but there's enough there, especially with a bomb plant, that they'll be able to invest if they lose this one. So the force buying in this exact moment isn't necessary, as they'd still face a full buy for their final round. I don't know. I feel like they've kind of made it more difficult for themselves in a way.
Yeah, I think they've sold themselves short a little bit too, because by then the loss bonus is starting to really tick over and assist them a little bit more in that department. And now Danger again, just taking control of long, but look at this concentration from MAKO, more towards short and mid. They are just now getting that information, the sound cues coming out. So K-Star, task ahead of him is going to be somewhat difficult, and he's not taking a very aggressive angle. I think he's just going to try and see what's on offer from a somewhat passive line. And we know that Paradox do like to use that wall as a bit of a line here, and here we go. He's just going to be forced out of position here. He's never looked comfortable in this round, and MAKO have got a lot of work to do, and frags aren't going to come their way just yet, but this is a very difficult entry to the site. RBZ still stands by the car. He is just buffed and polished and pushed away by Zerts. As now Eccles and Versa have to pick up the pieces here. Versa's got a great position here at short, so he's going to be able to try and pincer along with everything, but they double face him. As Eccles, we've seen him clutch 3v1 before. That was yesterday though, and he does find it, but the round timer is not on his side, and MAKO Shark find match point. Mitch, I see a lot that is probably frustrating Paradox right now.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Just look at the coordination on some of those pushes. Players are staying behind. They're not taking the short control at the same time. They're pushing up long. It's very weird. It's like all the pieces make sense, but they're not being put together at the same time. Oh, Eccles, what was that? I'm very confused. This man didn't even have his op out as he jumped around the corner. That's a free upgrade. All right, cool. Well, MAKO have got a man advantage and an op for free. I don't know why. I don't know how, but they have.
The double burst short. I don't think Echo was expecting that, but also you don't expect an AWP player to push short so quickly either. You normally put an AK in those hands, and I mean, that's, as we were talking about before, just going to go on and continue to frustrate Paradox somewhat. So he's already taken himself out of the equation now and has to rely on the 4 remaining members of Paradox to try and salvage match point and try and force OT. And we know MAKO have been quite decent at holding down these bomb sites, but the scout on the back of the platform is actually going to be effective. As K-Star holds things down and finds the final frag. Paradox just implode in those final rounds, and MAKO Shark find